How's it going, YouTube? Today we're going to start a series about cooking. Alright, we're going to talk about cooking while living in your vehicle, cooking while living in your van, off-grid cooking. I'm going to give you some recipes and some tips. I'm going to show you guys a few techniques. I'm going to show you how to cook a few different things. Today we're going to talk about cooking burgers. Alright, pretty basic, but we're going to step it up a little bit. We're going to cook what I like to call the manwich sandwich, all right? And I'm going to show you what that is, man. Stay tuned. We're going to go over that, and I'm going to show you how to cook it. I'm going to show you what pans that it's nice to have, all right? And I'm going to show you some cooking techniques, right? If you want to learn how to cook, cooking's an excellent way to save money too, guys. Remember that. If you really want to save money living out of your vehicle, it's real important that you learn how to cook, because you don't want to be just buying fast food, you know, 2 or 3 times a day. Well, that'd be way too much. You know, you end up spending so much money. You can actually eat for pretty cheap if you're willing to cook, and it's going to save you a whole lot of money. So what I want to do, I haven't really seen too many videos out there about people learning how to cook out of their van. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start covering some different cooking like tips and tricks. All right, I'm not a chef, okay, but I was actually a professional cook. I was a line cook for about 3 years. I was actually an egg cook, so I'm going to teach you guys how to cook eggs, omelets, and those type of things, but I'm going to teach you guys how to cook a good steak, right, out of the back of your van life cooking, okay? Today we're going to be covering how to cook burgers. I'm going to tell you what pans are good to have, what pans are good to use for what, and those type of things. So we're going to go over a few different things. Like I said, definitely click like and subscribe if you want to learn about cooking, camp cooking, van life cooking, and basically cooking, I guess, in general, because you can definitely take these tips and tricks and transfer them into your own kitchen. So we're going to cover some cooking, and we're going to have some fun. So stick around. See, we got a couple spices I like to keep. One's minced onions and Lowry seasoned salt. Okay, if you got those two things, you can make almost any meat taste good, right? We got our OzarK stove here. I'm not going to use this one. This one's in the package, but I got a stove already hooked up over there. We got some chips, some extra propane. I like this Great Value peanut butter flavor trail mix. All right, it's got a little bit of sugar, but there's also some protein and carbs in there. We got some organic bananas. Bananas are a great thing to keep with you. It's nice to have bananas because I have a protective cover on them, you know, so they're easy to transport. But another good thing about bananas, if you're trying to stop eating sugar, you can use bananas as kind of like a substitute, right? Now you can use bananas kind of like as a substitute if you're trying to stop eating so much sugar. You can start eating some bananas, and it'll cut down on some of the sugar cravings. And I'm gonna tell you, like, it's much better to eat a banana with some natural sugars in it than it is to eat like some cakes and stuff like that, or candy bars. So definitely, I like to keep bananas with me. Okay. All right. This is the stove. This is the stove I already have hooked up. This is the OzarK Trail little stove here, hooked up to some propane. So all you really got to do is turn this on and just click that little button, and it starts. If it doesn't work like that, you can use a lighter to start it also. Alright, let me turn that off for a second. I'm going to talk to you about these pans real quick. See, I got 4 different pans. You don't really need 4 different pans. You can cook with only 1 pan, right? But I got 4 different pans, and there's 4 different uses for these pans. I'm going to just go over it real quick. Alright, this is my egg pan right here. I use it to cook eggs, right? You can use this to cook over easy eggs, over medium eggs, over hard eggs, omelets, scrambled eggs, sunny side, whatever, right? So I'm going to show you guys how to cook eggs with this. Including, I'm going to show you how to cook professional omelets, all right? Just like in the restaurant, but out here in the middle of the woods. So, not in this video, but like I said, click like and subscribe and watch the next videos for that. Today we're going to be doing a burger, right? So this is the pan we're going to be using today. This is just pretty much your standard 9 to 10 inch pan. And this is what you're going to be using a lot of times, right? And then I also have this griddle pan right here. You can use this pan like if you want to cook pancakes and stuff like that. It's nice to have one of these. You can cook a lot of burgers on here if you have multiple people. So this comes in handy. I like to have one of these. Alright, and then we have this, guys. Alright, this is a cast iron pan. Listen, the cast iron pan is the best way to cook a steak. I'm going to show you guys how to actually cook a steak the best way if you're going to use a pan, right? This doesn't cover barbecue or that, you know, that barbecuing steak is different, but I'm just going to cover, if you're going to use a pan to cook a steak, I'm going to show you the best way to do it and the best pan to use. Always use the cast iron pan if you're going to be cooking a steak at your house or out here if you have one. So, but we're not going to be using this today, or this, or this, so we're going to be putting these away. Okay, so we're going to be sticking to this pan today. This is pretty much the only pan we're going to need. And this pan right here actually covers a lot of bases. Let me just tell you real quick, if you're going to buy a pan and you don't really know about pans, try to buy a pan that's thick, right? When you buy cheap pans, some of them are real thin, and the thinner the pan is, the easier it is to burn your food, and it just doesn't cook. It doesn't cook very well. It doesn't cook nearly as well when the pan's real thin. So when you're buying cookie pans, just try and buy pans that are kind of thick, okay? That's just a little tip. Like, you can look through the different sets of cheap pans, and some of them will be thicker than others. So try to find the thickest one and buy that one, all right? Okay, so let's see what we're actually going to eat. Okay, so we got our ice chest. Oh yeah, what do we got in there? So we got some hamburger meat, we got some lunch meat, we got some buns, we got some cheese, and we got some mustard in here. Alright, so today we're cooking what we're basically calling the manwich sandwich, okay? Gonna be 2 patties plus some lunch meat plus 2 pieces of cheese, alright? Put this here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add two of these beef patties to the pan. Like so. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to add a handful of this lunch meat to the pan. All right. Add a good couple handfuls. I like to add about 10 pieces of lunch meat. It depends on how many people you have and that type of thing. Right, so add some lunch meat. Give your dog some. Here you go, Bobos. Whoop. Give your dog a little treat if he's a good boy. Come on, come on. Give your dog a little treat. Come on. The big bull mastiff. Okay, so now we got two beef patties in the pan, and we got about maybe about 10 pieces of lunch meat in there, and we're just gonna fry it up. You know, it's gonna take a little bit of time. Thing about cooking, you don't need to over flip the burgers, you know, don't mess with them. You only need to flip the burgers, really, okay, you put the burgers on and the burgers start cooking. I'm talking about these pre-made patties, like these pre-formed patties. You put the burgers on and the burgers start cooking, right? And then you flip them over and you let them cook again. And then you flip them over and you let them cook again. And then you flip them over one more time and you add cheese. And that's it. It's like 4 flips and that's it, guys. And then you just adjust your cooking time to how rare or well done you want it, right? So I like mine just medium rare or medium. I'm just gonna basically cook this burger medium for the sake of this video. All right, let's put the spices on too. A lot of times what I like to do is just add some Lowry seasoned salt and then some minced onions. You know, just keeping it pretty basic. But you can add whatever spices, obviously, that you want. The thing about the Lowry seasoned salt has onions in it, it has garlic in it and stuff, so I just basically adding those 2 things. All right, we got our buns. We got some cheese and some mustard. I like mustard, but mustard's good too because, you know, it keeps well. You know, So mayonnaise, like if you want to use mayonnaise, of course, you know, you could do that, but it doesn't keep as long. But you know, obviously ketchup. I like mustard myself, so but you use whatever you want. So I'm gonna flip these burgers, right? I'm gonna flip them once. And then I'm gonna flip over this lunch meat. Okay, and then I'm gonna let them cook for a while. Right? It's basically 4 flips, and that's all you really need. And you can see I buy a lot of Great Value stuff. I got Great Value cheese, Great Value. Well, this is some Sam's Choice bread, but we got Great Value hamburger meat. So, you know, we buy Great Value stuff because it's cheaper, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing out here with this channel. I'm not really just saying like, this is not really like a retirement channel where you're gonna, it's not really exactly like that. What I'm trying to show people is how to live cheap. If you're a young guy and you're paying, you know, $1,000 a month rent, and all you really do is sleep there, and the rest of the time you're at work, I mean, what, you know, I'm saying if you're single. If you have kids and a wife, then you pretty much have to have the whole house and the whole setup. But I'm saying if you're a single guy and you have all these bills and all you're really doing is sleeping at your house, man, I mean, there just comes a point where you start wondering why you're paying all that money to stay there. You know, and maybe you could just think about staying in your van. I mean, what it's good to have like a van vehicle like this to stay in, but it's also good to have a piece of property. You can look at buying a piece of property though without having a house on it. You know, what you want to do is you want to find a piece of property that you can buy that's unrestricted, that you can basically park a vehicle there, or just build your own kind of like cabin style house there, you know, where you're not buying this $300,000 or $400,000 house with this 30-year freaking loan that's just sucking you dry. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's tough, man. But like I said, when you got a wife and kids, you kind of got to, like, you know, you're trying to maintain that for them because they're going to school and all these things and stuff. But like I said, if you're a single guy, you know, sometimes you're just going to question what you're doing all that stuff. What's the real reasoning, you know? So I'm going to continue to stir this stuff around. I'm going to stir this lunch meat up a little bit. Right? And I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to let this cook down. And just like I was saying, you don't need to over flip the burgers, right? You put the burgers on, let them cook for a while. You flip them over, you let them cook for a while. You flip them over again, you let them cook for a while. And then you flip them over again and you put on the cheese. And as far as cooking them from rare to medium rare to well done, you just time your flips in accordance with that. But you don't need to flip it over like, you know, 8 different times. It's really not necessary. Just let the burgers cook. Give them some time, you know, give them 3 or 4 minutes on each side and they'll be fine. You know? Just flip them like 4 times. And then put on the cheese. It's pretty basic. You know, you can go through McDonald's and get the cheapest stuff on the menu and not spend that much maybe, but do you really want to be eating like that all the time, you know? Eating constantly, like eating at McDonald's constantly, or fast food. I really just, you know, fast food in general. So now we flip the burgers over twice, and we're going to let them cook for a little while on this side, right? We're going to try to get them like a little bit crispy on the other side right now. And then we'll flip them over one more time. And then we'll let them cook for a while, and then we'll flip them over one more time and put the cheese on. Right? So we're just going to let them cook like this for a while. Stir up your lunch meat a little bit. Make sure I personally, I like the lunch meat to be cooked kind of like crispy, you know what I mean? So I like to cook the lunch meat up a little bit crispy, so I leave it on there for a while. But that's up to you. So we're just going to let that cook up, let it fry up. Alright, so just keep watching. Watching your burger patties. Don't get overly excited and flip them over too soon. But give them about 2 minutes. Alright, I'm about to flip these one again. See, now they're looking nice and crispy on this side, and I'm about to get ready to put the cheese on these things. One more flip and I'm putting cheese on them. So the burgers are looking excellent. I'm going to flip them one more time and then I'm going to put cheese on them. And then we'll just let that cheese melt up and they'll be pretty much good to go. Okay? If you really want to go above and beyond, you can actually toast these buns, that's up to you. You can take these patties and set them off to the side on the plate and then toast the buns before you put the burger patty on there. Okay, I'm going to flip these one more time. Right? Whoop. I'm actually going to turn this fire down a little bit because I want to give the burgers a little bit of time for this cheese to melt. Right? So I'm going to take a piece of cheese now. Whoop. Okay. So now we're going to take and add a piece of cheese to each one of these burgers. Now at this point, it's up to you when you want to put the lunch meat onto the burger, right? I personally like the lunch meat to be cooked, to be fried, kind of heavy. So I let the lunch meat cook for a while, let that cheese melt. And then when the cheese is melted, I'll put that lunch meat on there. And then we'll set up these burgers. Like I said, I like to just add mustard. Most of the time, just because it's real easy, I just add some mustard and go with it, but you add what you want. Okay, I'm just going to take some of this mustard right here. Give it a few little dabs. Okay. All right, then we got some, what do we got here? We got some basically some original chips, some kettle corn, some kettle cooked original potato chips. Real easy type of thing. So now I'm just going to sit here and wait for this cheese to melt up, and then I'm going to put the lunch meat on top of the burger and serve them on this plate with some chips. And that'll be about it. Be good to go. Just give that cheese a little bit of time to melt in there. And then we're going to add this lunch meat right to the top of those burgers and then put them on the buns. Okay, now we got our plate set up. We're getting ready to serve these burgers with some chips. So now, basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take some of this lunch meat and I'm just going to put it right on top of these burgers. Right? And then we have us a manwich sandwich. Just like that. Okay? And this is an excellent little treat or meal to cook out of the back of your van or while you're camping. Okay, so now, whoop, let me turn off this now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to take these, one burger on this bun, whoop, and then one burger over here on this bun, like that. Let me set that pan off to the side for a minute. Then I'm just going to basically take some of these chips, put these right on the side. right there. Put these chips over. Put these chips over to the side. And there you have it. That's pretty much it. Alright, so there we go. We have our 2 man-wich sandwiches. Let's check them out. See that? There we go. See, that wasn't too bad. Alright, if you don't like mustard, you add what you want. Get you some tomatoes, some lettuce, and that type of thing. But cooking's not too tough. You know, you just got to get in there and learn how to do it. Alright, so there we go. There's our man-wich sandwich, man. Cooked out of, you know, just the basics that you can store in the back of your van, live out of your van. Alright, I live completely off-grid, guys, so you know, I actually use this stuff. I don't just do this stuff for these videos. This is actually how I live. So we got these burgers cooked up real easy. It didn't take that long. And what I found with these propane tanks, you can cook at least 5 meals with one of these. So they last a little while, probably they last longer than I expected, right? And you could probably cook more like 10 meals if they're small meals. So there we go with that, right? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Definitely click like and subscribe. If you want to see more cooking stuff, we're going to be doing steaks. We're going to be doing, I'm going to show you guys how to cook almost like a pro out here in the middle of the woods, right? We got our omelet pans and stuff, so I'm going to show you how to cook eggs. I'm going to show you how to cook a steak, right? I'm going to show you the best way to cook a steak if you're going to cook it out of pans, okay? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Definitely click like and subscribe and come see us again. Thanks.